Hello everybody, welcome to the BA Illustration Visual Media Open Day. My name is Angela Michanizzi and I'm the course leader of the BA Illustration Visual Media. So, starting with why London College of Communication, or LCC as we call it. And we believe that LCC is for the curious, the brave and the committed, those who want to transform themselves and the world around them. Through our diverse world-leading community of teaching, research and partnerships with industry, London College of Communication nurtures and develops the critical, creative and technical excellence needed to discover new possibilities and practices in creative communications. From pre-degree, undergraduate, masters and PhDs to short courses and professional training, what we teach spans the design, media and screen industries. There are three schools: the Design School, Media School and Screen School at LCC. Now, there are six colleges at the University of the Arts London. That is the Camberwell College of Arts, Central St Martin's, Chelsea College of Arts, London College of Communication, London College of Fashion and Wimbledon College of Arts. We also have UAL Creative Computing Institute and Social Design Institute and the Decolonizing Arts Institute. Now I'll talk to you a little bit about our design school before I go into our talking about our course. Now, our school ethos builds on the aesthetic traditions of design practice and encourages experimentation, critique and innovation within the context of post-digital culture. We believe in the power of design practice, design thinking and design research to affect strategic change, shape positive futures and produce cultural value. We do have a manifesto, and we believe in design as side of action and agency to radically transform our world. We believe in power of design to critique, confront and challenge inequalities. We believe in questioning geopolitical, social, cultural and disciplinary boundaries. We believe that design operates in an ecology beyond the human-centric. We believe that learning continuous, collaborative and creative. We believe in power of making as critical practice and tangible intervention. We believe in embracing uncertainty through experimentation and risk-taking. And we believe in the value of interrogating the past to shape our futures. Now, in the design school, we have different programs. We have the branding and design innovation, graphic design and communication, interactive design and visual communication, where the BA illustration and visual media sits. Now, our course provides a distinctive, creative and stimulating environment where imagination and originality of ideas are nurtured, developed and realized. Students are asked to challenge and interrogate the potential for contemporary image making within the creative industries. Our course offers a broad and transdisciplinary approach to image making and interrogates the production of image making in an era with unparalleled opportunities for skilled visual communicators. We're encouraging deep inquiry and an awareness of the wider social, cultural and political context. The students to consider the role of the illustrator and image maker, allowing opportunity for students to question, validate and redefine the disciplinary responsibility. Our course cultivates an understanding of contemporary creative practice, critical debate and scholarly responsibility through a program of studio practice, seminars, lectures, workshops, tutorial support and peer learning opportunities. The course challenges students to consider the role of the image in contemporary visual culture and fuses methodologies of graphic awareness, critical illustrative practices, visual thinking, authorship, and emergent technologies. Through media experimentation, students are encouraged to develop new approaches to both traditional and emergent techniques, creating space to define their practice with contextual understanding. The emphasis on students using the intellectual and creative space to examine and challenge existing definitions of illustration and its ramifications including consumption and production. Students are encouraged to cultivate independent vision and to approach work with a curiosity, intellect, and practical rigor. Traditional digital and time-based mediums are harnessed by facilitating a diverse range of studio-based projects that give students the space to develop their practice and confidently build transferable skills. The content of the course asks the student to consider the role of the illustrator, aiding an excessive exploration of communication and narrative via a broad range of mediums. Commercial and personal projects are routinely implemented, allowing students to develop a professional practice applicable to both commission and authorial basis, widening the scope of potential employment. The course's fluid definition of illustration means that students are taught to become innovative practitioners capable of uniquely defining the subject, offering crucial debate and exposing work in the public arena. We are keen to challenge existing preconceptions and definitions of image making and to encourage students to view themselves as active practitioners of the discipline. The course offers a strong, vibrant and supportive studio culture with an emphasis on experimentation, investigation, imagination and invention, and with a view to respond to problems in new and sustainable ways. The studios are alive to the wider social, cultural and political context and responsive to change. The curriculum focuses on collaboration, networking and shared entrepreneurial practices, as well as nurturing and developing a creative and individual voice and authenticity in one's practice. The course promotes participatory learning through collaboration with external partners and encourages students to become responsive, adaptable, and resourceful practitioners able to communicate in compelling ways to diverse audiences. The course offers students the opportunity to develop a professional focus of creative practice for life after graduation. Our course provides access to a wide range of facilities and resources that the college has to offer, from traditional print and book arts through to digital imaging, VR, 3D printing, and prototyping and coding. Students can experiment with emerging technologies and explore the implications and challenges of such technologies to the contemporary image maker. Who studies in our course? The students that are usually interested in exploring the broad spectrum of illustration and image making are people that come and want to interrogate visual communication, animation, typography, illustration, time-based design, authorial practice, publishing, narrative and sequential image making. Our graduates will have a diversity of skills and be self-starters who take ownership of all aspects of a project and be rigorous and thorough in their approach to tasks. They will have a high level of technical and digital literacy and an ability to learn independently. They will be able to demonstrate passion, enthusiasm, and curiosity. They will have strong conceptual skills and practical making skills, and they will be flexible and not rigid in their thinking and approach. They will have the ability to translate narrative images across media, and they will be able to deploy narrative illustrative content in books, online, in animation, and interactive and environmental settings. They will also have an agile, critical perspective to sustain a career in the creative industries over the long term. Studying in our university. At the moment, we have a course in a blended taught session where it's workshops and studio learning. Students are keen to understand their schedules, how much time they will be in class, and how long they're going to be taking the course. The course is a blend of taught sessions, workshops undertaken in the studio, in our facilities, and independent study learning. Independent learning is the ability to work on your own with minimal direction and with confidence. This includes a sense of how to manage on time and learning, as well as how to respond to difficulties or challenges. Content time is quite a lot. We have content time every week. Our course is quite large, so we have about 135 students in each year. So we divide that into small groups. So each year has between 5 to 6 groups of 27 students, where you see your tutor weekly, and you usually see your tutor twice a week. And then you have your theory lessons, as well as obviously your workshop lessons. So there's quite a lot of content time with myself and your year leader. So you get a lot of pastoral and quite a lot of tutorials with us as well. Teaching and learning. In 2021 and 22, our course will support participants throughout both on campus and on live activities. This means that we'll be delivering regular asynchronous content, such as lectures, tutorials, and key reading, and online discussion groups, and workshops and in-person sessions will be in class in the actual campus. Our aim is to provide learning experiences which are a rich mix of online and on-site learning according to what works best for students. You will work with your peer groups in many different ways. We will deliver online and on-site workshops that are taking place in the studio, briefings, seminars, professional talks, interim critiques, mini shows, and group and one-to-one tutorials. All groups will be smaller in size, on-site, tutor-specific, and we will run workshops, mini lectures, and work-in-progress sessions and critiques, as well as collaborative working. All assessments that we have are online through submission and feedback. You'll be submitting a PDF and a blog and receive feedback once we have completed assessment moderation as a course team. You'll have tutorials to discuss feedback and a series of formative assessment points throughout the course. Now, this is a little bit about our course diagram, and I will be talking to you for each year. Sorry. And then, of course, what units we have. So in year one, as you will see, that's the level 4 year one. And as you can see, we have 30 weeks. We actually work on block systems, which are like semesters. So we have week 1 to 15, where you have specific units, and then from week 16 to 30, which there are more units. You have Intro to Illustration and Visual Media, Visual Practices, Exploration and Play, and Illustration Practices, Methods and Processes are practical lessons, and CTS, which is Contextual and Theoretical Studies, are the theory lessons. Now, in year one, the emphasis is placed on directed learning. Year one has 135 students in total, divided into 7 groups, with a personal tutor for each group and a year leader. Now, each of those units, I will go through so then you know what it covers. Introduction to Illustration and Visual Media is a unit that aims to introduce you to your course, and it's subject specific, as well as effective learning and studentship at undergraduate level. On that Intro to Illustration and Visual Media, we are joined together with the CTS, so you have theory and practical coming into one. Now, visual practice, exploration and play. The unit introduces you to research as practice throughout play and exploration. You will be encouraged to consider the possibilities of using image generation as a method to investigate a range of different subjects. Illustration practices, methods and processes. This unit of study will introduce you to how process-led activities enhance and activate ideas generation through investigation and experimentation. Through a range of processes-led activities, you will investigate the possibilities of generating impactful works that communicate to a wider audience. The unit will be led by 3 different studios that will focus on utilizing further the skills and methods taught in the previous units. The studios are Hand and Eye, hybrid forms, and through the lens. Contextual and theoretical studies 1 is for year 1. This unit introduces you to histories, theories, and debates in relation to illustration and visual media, and visual and material culture. Now, at this stage on year 1, we also have Erasmus schemes in place. Our Erasmus schemes are with Konstfack and Sweden. And at the second block, as you will see, you will be given the chance to submit your portfolio. So then you have the chance on the beginning of year 2 to be able to go and study on one of those 2 universities, either in Sweden or in UTK Berlin. And then obviously come back to us on the block 2. Now in year 2, the emphasis shifts in the student directing their own learning more. So again, in year 2, we have 137 students, again divided into 7 groups, again with a personal tutor and a year leader, exactly in the same kind of way. And now we have obviously different studios and units where they take you deeper into image making. So in the first block, we have exploring studio practices. This unit will introduce you to specialist forms of image making practice through the lens of the studio areas, and our studios are identities and place, sequences and time, body and experience, and visual authorship and space. These 4 studio areas offer focused practical exploration and interrogation of the wider discourse around contemporary image making practice and are designed to adapt to its changing nature. Professional practices is another of the units that you do on year 2 on your block 3. And this is a unit that you get together with other courses, and there's a collaboration with other courses, and you work on a live brief. So that unit expands the idea of specialist studio practice into the development of your own participation in specialist studios to encourage your continued development as a creative practitioner. Drawing on your experience of the introductory projects in exploring studio practices, you will select 2 of your studio areas to work within. This increased focus will allow you to develop more in-depth projects, taking the theme in your own personal direction. Contextual and theoretical studies 2 aims to develop broader knowledge and understanding of the historical, social, practical, theoretical, and cultural ideas, practices, and phenomena of contemporary culture, design, art, and media in its broadest sense. Now, at the end of year 2, we have a Diploma in Professional Studies, which is another kind of smaller sort of course that allows you to go in the industry. It's optional, it works through portfolio, and it gives you the ability to go in the industry for 1 year to work and then come back to us in year 3, which obviously makes the whole course 4 years rather than 3 years, but it gives you a very good opportunity to get experience while you're actually studying. Now in year 3, the emphasis shifts in students directing their own learning. Usually in year 3, we have around 120 to 130 students, still with 7 groups, still with a personal tutor, and still with a year leader. But at that point, you are able to start kind of working more on your own practice. So you kind of work with a tutor that actually aligns with this kind of aspect. Now, there is a choice of 2 routes. As you will see, there's a route A and a route B. The route A allows you to do a dissertation that is more words, so it's 10,000 words, and it allows you to do 1 project on the first block. And if you choose the route B, that gives you the ability to do 5,000 words. So it's a less dissertation, a smaller dissertation, but allows you to do 2 projects in that first block, but always having the major project being one of the major units out of the whole course and the one that has the most credits. So in the minor studio project on the first block, you will be required to consider the planning, management and dissemination of a body of work based on the areas of your interest. You will be asked to write your own project there with the help of your tutor and myself. And again, pushing towards your own practice. Obviously, contextual and theoretical studies is your dissertation, and that's a big block, that's a big part of your year 3, and it goes towards a big sort of importance towards your mark. And then again, you're asked to actually choose and write your own subject. So you'll be asked from year 2 to start building on that and start writing on that, and that will happen on your CTS2 and your studio. And then obviously in the year 3, you will be coming in with actually your own choice of what you would like to write in your dissertation. Now, the major project is split into 3 projects. 2 of them coming from the industry and competitions, and then 1 last major project that you do at the end, which obviously you write again. It's your own kind of brief that we write together, and that will be also the brief that you will be showcasing your work at the end year show. Now, facilities are absolutely spectacular at LCC. We have absolutely everything. There's a 3D workshop where you can actually go and work with 3D printers and also do cutouts, laser cutout. We have a creative technology lab where you can do VR and learn about coding. There's a lovely college shop. There's a digital space, which the pictures from the moment, where you can actually go and use the computers and learn more about digital software. Although we do kind of do the basic digital software in our course, but you can actually go more in depth with that. We have gallery spaces. We have the kit room where you can actually take a lot of equipment out, whether you want to do filming or if you want to do a photography or for one of your projects. Phenomenal, absolutely spectacular library services. You do have access to all the libraries UAL, and this is one of the biggest creative libraries you will ever get your hands on. There are photography studios that you get induction and obviously can use later on. Amazing printing and finishing facilities. Our printmaking rooms are absolutely phenomenal, and obviously if you've taken a tour around the building, you probably have seen how amazing our facilities are. Now, our staff, a little bit about our staff. We are a large team. There's only like a few of them at the moment here, myself on the top, and obviously Lee Clark, year 3 leader, Carl Forster, year 2 leader, Macy Noble, year 1 leader, and some of our tutors. We all also teach, even myself as well as the leaders. And we have a lot of social lecturers that come in and specialize in different kind of practices, so we can cover a lot of those things like sculpture, painting, installation, drawing, typography, photography, film, digital and print-based media, a combination of the above. We had students that have done performance as well, so there is a very broad, our course is extremely broad course. So obviously, you know, you can actually do a lot of kind of exploration of the image making in different kind of practices. Now we have a lot of a little bit more I wanted to talk about collaborations that we do with practitioners, and we do have thematic societies of practices, which is a kind of community-based event that we do every Friday, where we invite professionals from the industry to come and do talks or workshops or run live projects with you. And I will talk a bit more about the libraries on the next slide. And those thematic societies are allowing your kind of students to actually be able to mix a lot of those different practices together. So we have a lot of a lot of the professions coming in to talk about printmaking. We're looking at narrative and storytelling. We're looking at editorial illustration, comic and narrative, animation, character design, which is a lot of interest of our students at the moment. Computational and generative art, digital art. We have a lot of concept art that is coming very strong at the moment. A lot of our students are kind of doing a lot of work on that. New media, painting and sculpture and art installations, do a lot of sound investigation, game, performance, type, and sometimes sort of a more commercial graphic design aspect of image making. Now, we do work a lot with the industry partners that we have. We're very much connected, so we do get a lot of live briefs coming through. These are some of the people that we've worked with, so National Ballet, Victorian Albert Museum, Wallace Collection, Penguin, Random House. We get a lot to collaborations happen there, Faber and Faber, Saatchi and Saatchi, Nike, Royal Academy, Pentagram, and just to name a few of our partners. And looking into the diploma for professional studies, which a lot of our students have to say that there's a big amount of our students that they do decide to go from the second year into the diploma for professional studies, and actually do spend a year in the industry, which was absolutely invaluable because it gives them such a different approach. When they come back in year 3, they're more focused, they know exactly, what area and what practice to kind of focus. So it works absolutely fantastic with us. And a lot of our students have worked on Apple headquarters, Adidas, a lot of research studios in London, Barcelona, and Berlin. We have a lot of Channel 4, Museum of Modern Art in New York, Tate, Pentagram, Selfridges, and again, just to name a few of those. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of the work of our students, so then you can actually see a bit more what our students produce, and that's from year 3 work. And these are some of the visuals that they kind of presented on the end year show. Eva Popovich is an artist that works a lot in the intersection of British and Balkan identities, and she created really spectacular visuals while she kind of sort of studied with us and kind of researched that area. Now, Yu Chong Cho looks at how to define contemporary society. Modern consumers consume not goods, but signs and symbols. So modern society can also be seen as a setting characterized by the excess of images. So again, year 3 work, more kind of graphical. She created a publication where she investigated contemporary society. Hannah Barklam, her project was Instaland, and explores the world of Instagram and influencers and the way people are becoming increasingly concerned with the visibility of their online presence. Kinder Kinsey explores his heritage through a book his aunt left. And the book contains years of new articles of stories of stock folk, and he hopes to bring to life through comical and explosive imagery. He also explores queer identity. Holly Cubban, she uses, her work focuses on people through the issues surrounding society today. She hopes that her work can educate people and highlight how we can challenge society. Ellie Chair is an illustrator working on digital drawing and the sense of nostalgia and natural world. Ellie Bond is currently exploring queer narratives and how their lack of representation in education is a detriment to their fight for equality. Her processes uses typography to create visuals both through digital creation and through letterpress printing. So her outcomes are quite experimental. And then I brought some work from our graduates, so then you can actually see a bit where our graduates go and what they do. And this is Eleanor Cruz's work. Eleanor created a comic about obviously the time where she knew she was gay, which now has been published and sold in Amazon and around on bookshops. So you can actually find it also on her website. We have Tommy finished that he actually exhibits his work now in Such and Suchy and loads of different galleries. He's kind of concentrated his work on painting, so he's a painter. We have Gabriela Masarakis, illustrator, working with editorial illustration and with various magazines and newspapers at the moment. Sean McKeever won the Penguin Random House Student Design Award in 2019, and she's working in Penguin at the moment. So, portfolio and what we're looking for from your portfolio. So what we're looking for is a collection of work showing how your creativity has developed. It shows your ability to work with different materials, themes, and techniques, as well as how you research, develop, and plan your ideas. All our applicants are required to present a portfolio of work which must evidence the following: visual vocabulary, quality of compositional skills, and use of line, shape, form, scale, space, light, color, texture, and time. Ideas generation, quality of ideas and expression of conceptual thinking. Research and its application, including sketchbooks, systematic identification and investigation of appropriate resources. Materials and media exploration and experimentation, testing of materials and methods in realization of concepts, contextual awareness and its influence on the portfolio, understanding and application subject knowledge and context. Now, your personal statement, it should show your interest, tell us about you and why you want to study in this particular area. The course is particularly interested in students that are keen to push the boundaries of image making and are forward-thinking, ambitious, culturally and visually aware, and creative risk takers. Applicants should be committed, hardworking, respectful, and keen to develop new arenas for image making practice through experimental and critical practice. Thank you very much. Any questions? And these are some links as well. If you want to follow us on @IVMCLCC Instagram, you will see a lot of the work of our students, and actually all the workshops that we do, we're actually quite active on Instagram, so we put quite a lot of the work up there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Angela, for this presentation. It's a really informative presentation.
Thank you.
I hope everyone who joined us found it really useful as well. But I suppose without any further ado, let's launch into questions and answers. Angela, how many days per week do students tend to have on site? How many hours are they expected to put into self-initiated study?
Okay. All right. For year one, we get to have the students in, well, at the moment, due to COVID, okay, let me just go a little bit different. At the moment, due to COVID, you are in studio once a week and in workshop areas once a week as well, because obviously we're still having to deal with numbers and distancing. That will change obviously as we go along, and you know, we get to be as normal as possible as before. So you do get twice a week that you're in on site. Obviously, if you book more workshops, you can be more, but with your tutors and with dedicated sessions that we have booked for you, you're twice a week in there. You do have CTS that is happening online. Your theoretical lessons are taking place online. So you get that add-on in the sense of hours. So if you were to look at in the sense of hours and how many hours you need to be with us, and as opposed to the hours that you need to work, because I know some of you do work, it kind of depends, and we kind of work around. But usually you have 2 to 3 days that you are scheduled to be on lessons. So in the sense of self-directed study, we do have a dedicated day that you can actually come and access the studios for that self-directed study, so that you can actually put it as an extra day. So you can call it like a day 4. However, we believe that it should be actually a study as much as possible most of the time. So it should become more of a natural way of being, creating all the time. So because the more you create, the more you become more stronger and stronger into your practice. And obviously, this is the time when you come to university, this is the time that you have the ability to explore and expand. Usually in the industry, they don't give you that amount of time. So this is the best time for you to kind of really focus and put as much hours as possible into it. So there is no certain amount of time that I can really tell you about the self-directed study. I usually say to you as many hours as you can, really.
Great, thank you very much for the answer. The next
Thank you.
question reads, how does the assessment system work? Do you have marks, or is it just pass or fail?
Okay, in year 1 we have we work at the moment on pass and fail, and then from year 2 onwards in year 3 we have a marking system from obviously A to E or F, and the marks from the year 2 counts 30% into the marks of year 3 of your final marks. So the year 2 and year 3 kind of work together in a sense. Now we kind of, the assessment happens, as I said very briefly through the presentation, online. I mean, you do have quite often group critiques and critiques with your tutor and discussions as you go along with your workshops and everything, but the final critique is where we kind of look at the work and then we say, okay, you know, you can change this and that, and then you go off and produce the work, create a PDF of that, you upload it online. We kind of look at that PDF with your blog that you actually kind of put work there, the development, the exploration that you've done for the project as you go along through the weeks. And holistically together, we look at those and we give a mark for your submission. So it's a kind of holistic thing of you working in the studio, producing, working through your kind of group critiques, then making your work, your final outcome, getting all that together, putting it on your PDF, updating your blog, all of them together, and then obviously looking at it, we give you a mark. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. If you would like Angela to clarify or expand a little more, just write so in the questions tab. The following question reads as, what are the differences between IVM at LCC and illustration at Camberwell?
Oh God, I always get this question. This is really, it is really amazing. I can't particularly kind of, I can't really fully say to you the differences between us and the other, because we work together as courses, and you know, it's really kind of difficult. All I can say is that our course it has the visual media aspect to it, so it's not just an illustration course. So we're quite broad in the way that we interrogate image making, as I said. So we're looking at a lot of exploration and experimentation and pushing the boundaries of image making a little bit more than the usual traditional illustration courses. So I can speak about ourselves, but I'm not very familiar with the Camberwell course to be able to really fully raise my opinion about it.
Thank you, Angela. The next question is asking about what's the demographic of the cohort. So where are students from? What's the gender demographic? What's the sort of age demographic? Do you tell us a little bit more about that?
Very, very broad. Again, we have such a big cohort. If you think that all 3 years, it's like about 400 students. So you can imagine that we get students from absolutely all over the world, EU, home, and international. We get students from absolute every gender, and we get demographics in the age. Usually is 2021, but we get sometimes mature students, and sometimes students that come from foundation, so they're a little bit younger. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Next question is asking about the types of softwares that are used on the course.
Okay. So software, so in year one, you will be taught how to use the desktop publishing software. So you will be taught to use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and obviously how to create your PDF as well. So we kind of go into those software in year one. Year two, you go more into looking at After Effects and animation software is sort of Animate, After Effects, Premiere, animating with Photoshop as well. And then a little bit about web design as well on your second block, on the second unit. And then in year three, we look into sort of 3D, VR, that kind of areas. You do look into augmented reality as well in year one with an animation project that has it was really successful. I mean, I actually showed a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there was some a little bit of a video showing on the presentation. So we are kind of exploring not just the kind of traditional kind of ways, which is the printmaking ways, and kind of explore a lot of the digital aspect as well. But you don't have to know anything. We do start from the beginning, so do not feel overwhelmed. We also have, as I said earlier on, we have the digital space as well for extra lessons. We have the creative technology studio downstairs as well for more. So please don't feel overwhelmed. And it's not the most important thing of our course, because a lot of people do think that our course is digital based. It is not. It's a good mixture and balance of digital and analog together.
Thank you. Now we've got a question about portfolio. Would you mind quickly identifying what would you say stands out in a portfolio? What is the most important thing to show in one?
Exploration and experimentation of methods and materials. That is absolute key. And sort of understanding of research and how you contextualize that as well is very important. Yeah. In a nutshell.
Thank you.
Very kind of quick, like, you know, I kind of went very deep and I had all these notes earlier on, but I mean, in a very kind of nutshell, very quick, very kind of to the point. This is exactly what we're looking for.
Before we part our own ways, Angela, do you have any last words of wisdom?
Oh God, I think I covered everything. But yeah, I mean, as I said, if you do need anything or you want to chat more about things, just email me, and I look forward to seeing you and working with you in our course. And thank you very much for listening to me.
Fantastic. Well, that's the last of us. Thank you for those parting words. It was a pleasure having you here with us. We wish you a good evening or morning or afternoon, regardless where you are in the world. We look forward to receiving your applications. That's it from us. goodbye and take care.
Thank you. Bye.